It has been a while.
It's been a long time, yeah.
Well, welcome back to Dayton.
Thank you.
Rock 2.
Rock 2, Rachmaninoff's Second Piano Concerto, Opus 18.
As a listener, I buckle in and prepare for a journey because I know that this concerto will have me on the edge of my seat at times, and then at other times I will use the entire chair, leaning back and sitting back too. As the person who will be playing the piano, can you relate to that at all for the listener?
Well, of course, because before I was a pianist, I was a listener, after all. And I think you said it perfectly. I mean, it does have you on your edge. It's full of drama and real excitement. And there are times when you have never been more satisfied by the sumptuous lyric beauty. And actually, in this case, a happy ending to a piece which does not begin happily.
Pianist Garrick Ohlsson talking about the Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto No. 2, which he performed 2 weeks ago with the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra as they kicked off their inaugural season with Keitaro Harada as its new music and artistic director. I'm Shaun with Arts Focus. The legendary pianist stopped by the station the day before the concert to discuss the concerto that he considers one of the finest ever created.
I think this piece is perfect. First of all, there's nothing perfect in the world, but in art there are some things that come pretty close. What do I mean by this piece being perfect? It starts and the arc of its development doesn't finish for 35 minutes until the end. It never puts you down. It never lags in its inspiration. There's not one bar that's too long or not one thought that isn't developed enough. Now, of course, that's just an assertion. Let me just do it by a rather silly analogy. I think that we often talk about the perfection of Mozart, who has this quality of he says everything and not too much and not too little. Other great composers manage to do that occasionally. I think Rachmaninoff has done it here, and I think if Mozart were alive in around 1900 when this piece was written, this is what he might have come up with because of the developments in the musical language and style and what was going on. And it just has this walking off the ground quality. Although it's very heavy and tragic in spots, it never puts you down. Somehow it's perfect that way. Whereas the third, which is equally popular, I think aims for much greater things and achieves them, but it's a little clumsier and it's a little more awkward, and things don't all the gears don't quite mesh the same way. It's an equally great work in a different subject. That's, you can't compare these things. It's the old apples and oranges or elephants and tigers. So I would say that for me it's a perfect work, and its level of inspiration, as James Dupree said, is constant. There is not a moment in it that is not perfectly inspired.
The backstory of Rachmaninoff writing this concerto, the struggles that he went through, the writer's block and the overcoming of it thanks to a therapist, that story is well known. Does that inform how you approach a work at all?
No, really not. Back to Mozart for a moment. He wrote his most tragic string quartet basically during the successful and joyful birth of his first son. One of the most joyful times in his life, and he runs upstairs and pens the most heartbreaking music. So I don't think you have a nice day and write a happy piece, and have a difficult or sad day and write a sad piece. So no, it doesn't inform me because you've got too much to do with the piece. It moves me. Of course, it's interesting to know that Rachmaninoff was very insecure. The insecurity, the writer's block came as a result of the failure of the First Symphony. That's all fascinating, but no, in terms of approaching the piece, not at all. It has to be done on the basis of the material on the piece and how it's played and how it's come down to us through various performances, including his, which I believe is still one I would name as the finest. He was, if not the greatest pianist, there is no greatest pianist, but he was certainly. There was none greater in the first half of the 20th century.
You'll get to hear the concerto in its entirety along with the Carl Nielsen Symphony No. 4, The Inextinguishable, this Saturday on Discover Classical's Live and Local. The broadcast begins at 10 a.m. this Saturday. Special thanks to Garrick Ohlsson for stopping by the station. I'm Shaun. Arts Focus is a production of Dayton's Discover Classical.